If you're watching this right now, it is not random. You didn't just stumble across this message by chance. Something inside you has already shifted. And the timing of this video appearing in your life is the proof. Life has a strange way of sending us signs when we are ready to receive them. Think back to moments when you saw the right book, the right number, or heard the right words at exactly the right time. This is one of those moments. You are here because you have already crossed an unseen threshold, and now the universe wants you to know that you passed. The idea of a final test may sound mysterious, but it is not about a test in school or a challenge given by someone else. The final test is always within. It is the last push, the moment when you face the old patterns that have held you back. Maybe it was fear. Maybe it was doubt. Maybe it was the temptation to fall into old habits. When you resisted that pull and chose differently, you sent a signal to life itself. You proved that you are no longer who you were yesterday. That choice was your graduation moment. Passing the final test is not about perfection. It's about awareness. It's about recognizing when the old self tries to pull you back and choosing not to let it win. Many people miss these moments because they are subtle. They expect some big sign. But the truth is much quieter. The sign is you. The shift is inside your own energy, your own thoughts, your own response. And because of that shift, this message reached you now. That is the secret of synchronicity. When the student is ready, the message arrives. So take a deep breath and realize something powerful. This message found you because you have reached a new stage in your life. You are not the same as before. You are being called to step forward, to step higher, and to accept that your past has lost its power over you. The very fact that you are here proves that you have moved through the unseen trial. This is your confirmation. You passed the test and now the real journey begins. When we talk about the final test, most people imagine something external, like a situation life throws at them. But the deeper truth is that the final test is never about the outside world. It is always about the inner world. Think of it as the last barrier between the old version of yourself and the person you are becoming. This test appears in the form of triggers, challenges, or temptations that push you back toward who you used to be. The reason it feels difficult is because it is designed to reveal whether you have truly outgrown your past patterns or if they still control you. On a spiritual level, the final test is a symbolic doorway. Before you enter a new chapter of life, you must prove to yourself that you can carry the lessons you've learned. It is like the universe asking, "Are you ready?" You might notice that old fears or doubts come up one last time, almost as if they want to test your strength. This is not punishment. It is preparation. Once you see it this way, the test becomes less frightening and more empowering. It is not about catching you off guard. It is about confirming that you are strong enough to move forward. On a psychological level, this test represents the subconscious mind trying to keep you safe. The brain loves familiarity, even if it's painful. That's why old habits, toxic relationships, or limiting beliefs often resurface right when you're on the edge of transformation. Your subconscious is saying, stay where it's safe. But when you choose differently, when you break the pattern, you send a signal to your mind and body that the old story no longer defines you. That choice, repeated consistently, is what frees you from the prison of the past. So the final test is both simple and profound. It is life asking you, will you choose the new path or slip back into the old one? Will you follow fear or will you follow faith? Passing this test doesn't mean you'll never face challenges again, but it does mean you've proven to yourself that you are stronger than your old identity. That realization alone is enough to shift your entire reality. And once that shift happens, everything in your outer world begins to mirror the inner transformation. Life has a mysterious way of speaking to us. Sometimes it's through repeating numbers. Other times it's a message, a video, or even a stranger's words that seem perfectly timed. This is what we call synchronicity. It feels like coincidence, but deep down you know it's not random. It's a reminder that you are connected to something greater. The fact that you are seeing this now means you are aligned with the exact moment you need it most. Synchronicity happens because your inner world and outer world are linked. When you change your thoughts, your energy, and your focus, reality responds. The timing of signs is never accidental. They show up when you are ready, not a moment sooner. If this message found you today, it is because your energy has reached a point where you can finally understand it. The universe is precise. It does not waste signals. It delivers them only when the student is prepared. Psychologists describe synchronicity as meaningful coincidences, but it goes beyond simple chance. It's not just about random patterns, it's about alignment. Your subconscious mind notices opportunities and connections that match your current state of being. This is why two people can live the same day yet only one sees the signs. Awareness creates vision. The more awake you are, the more the world reveals its messages to you. So don't dismiss the timing of this message. Take it as confirmation that you are in the right place at the right time. Trust that synchronicity is proof that you are not lost. You are exactly where you are supposed to be. The appearance of this message is not by accident. It is the universe's way of whispering, you passed. You are ready for the next step. One of the hardest parts of transformation is saying goodbye to who you used to be. The old self feels safe. It feels familiar, even if it causes pain. But to step into a new life, you must release the habits, thoughts, and emotions that no longer serve you. This is not easy because the old identity will try to pull you back. It whispers that change is risky, that comfort is better. Yet deep inside you know that staying the same is no longer an option. The old self is built on repetition. It's the automatic thoughts you think every day, the routines you follow without question, the emotions you replay over and over. Breaking free means becoming aware of those patterns and choosing differently. Awareness is the first step. Once you see how much of your life is driven by the past, you gain the power to change it. Every small decision to act differently weakens the grip of the old identity. Letting go doesn't mean rejecting your past. It means honoring it, learning from it, and then deciding that it no longer defines you. Imagine carrying a heavy bag everywhere you go. At some point, you realize you can put it down. That's what breaking the old self feels like. It's not about fighting against who you were. It's about releasing the weight of old stories so you can walk lighter into your future. When you pass this stage, you feel freedom. The same situations that once triggered you no longer control you. The same doubts that held you back lose their power. You realize you are not your past, not your mistakes, and not your fears. You are the awareness behind them, and that awareness is limitless. Breaking the old self is the true beginning of a new life. Science shows us that the brain is not fixed. It changes with every thought, every emotion, and every new experience. This process is called neuroplasticity. When you face a challenge and choose a new response, you are literally rewiring your brain. You create new pathways that make it easier to act differently next time. This is why passing inner tests feels so powerful. It's not just emotional, it's biological. You are reshaping your mind to match your new identity. Think of your brain like a forest. The old self is like a path you've walked 1,000 times. It's clear, easy, automatic. The new self is like a trail that's just beginning. Every time you choose growth, you walk that new trail and it gets stronger. The old path slowly fades while the new one becomes your default. That's how transformation works. It's not magic, it's training. It's practice. It's the consistent choice to build the mind you want to live with. Passing the final test proves that your brain has already started changing. When you resisted the pull of old habits, you strengthened the new pathway. That's why life feels different afterward. You no longer react in the same way because your brain is no longer wired in the same way. Over time, these new patterns shape your thoughts, your emotions, and even your physical health. So when you feel proud of yourself for passing an inner test, remember that your brain feels it too. You are not just changing spiritually, you are changing physically. Every new choice is carving a new future. And once your brain is wired for the person you want to be, reality has no choice but to reflect that change back to you. Everything in life is energy. Your thoughts, your emotions, your body, they all vibrate at different frequencies. When you pass a final test, your energy changes. You no longer carry the heavy vibration of fear, doubt, or anger. Instead, you rise into a lighter frequency of clarity, peace, and confidence. That's why new signs and synchronicities start appearing. You are tuning into a new channel, and reality begins to match your signal. Imagine a radio station. If you're tuned to one frequency, you hear only that station. Change the frequency and the entire sound changes. Life works the same way. When you shift your energy, you attract new people, new opportunities, and new signs that align with who you are becoming. The universe is always broadcasting. What you receive depends on the signal you are sending. This is why you might notice repeating numbers, meaningful dreams, or sudden moments of clarity after passing a test. It's not random, it's a reflection of your vibration. You are no longer aligned with the old version of yourself, so the world around you begins to rearrange. The more you maintain this new state of being, the more consistent the signs become. So don't be surprised if the world feels different now. Your frequency has shifted. You are not attracting the same situations as before. This is proof that your inner work is paying off. The vibration you hold is the vibration you live in, and now you are tuned to a higher state of reality. The subconscious mind is like the hidden operating system of your life. It controls about 95% of your thoughts, emotions, and actions. The final test often comes in the form of these hidden beliefs rising to the surface. You may think you've moved on, but deep inside, old programming tries to keep you small. This is why passing the test feels so powerful. You're not just changing your conscious choices, you're reprogramming your subconscious mind. Most subconscious beliefs are formed in childhood. They're shaped by family, culture, and early experiences. When you try to create a new reality, these old beliefs resist. They say, you can't, you're not enough, it's too risky. But when you recognize that voice and choose differently, you send a new command to the subconscious. Over time, it learns a new story. That story becomes the foundation of your new life. The final test is really the subconscious asking, do you still believe the old story, or are you ready for a new one? Every time you say yes to growth and no to fear, you rewrite the script inside your mind. This is why change feels slow at first. You are not just building new habits, you are installing a new operating system. Once it locks in, your outer world shifts effortlessly. Passing this gateway means you no longer live on autopilot. You stop repeating old cycles because you stop believing the old lies. That is true freedom, and once the subconscious accepts your new identity, the rest of your life rises to meet it. Your heart and your brain are deeply connected. When they work together, you enter a powerful state called coherence. This is when your thoughts, emotions, and body are aligned. In this state, stress melts away, intuition becomes stronger, and life feels more harmonious. It's often in these moments that clear signs and synchronicities appear. The final test is often about reaching this state and holding it even when life tries to pull you out. Science shows that the heart sends more signals to the brain than the brain sends to the heart. That means your emotions directly shape your thoughts. When you feel gratitude, peace, or love, your heart creates a rhythm that calms your brain. This opens the door to higher clarity and awareness. On the other hand, fear or stress throws your system out of balance, making it hard to see signs or opportunities clearly. Heart-brain coherence is not just about feeling good, it's about alignment. When your heart and mind agree, your energy field strengthens. You become magnetic to the experiences you want. This is why many people notice powerful synchronicities when they're deeply relaxed, joyful, or grateful. Their inner state matches the reality they want to live in, so the universe mirrors it back. Learning to sustain coherence is like training a muscle. It takes practice, but each time you do it, the state becomes more natural. Once you pass the test of coherence, you realize that the outer world no longer controls you. Instead, your inner balance shapes the outer world. That's when life begins to flow effortlessly. From a quantum perspective, reality is not fixed. It exists as endless possibilities, and your choices decide which version you step into. When you pass a final test, you are not just making a small change, you are shifting timelines. You are stepping out of one version of yourself and into another. That's why everything can feel different, almost as if you entered a new reality overnight. Think of it like tuning a television. All channels exist at once, but you only see the one you select. When you change your energy and make a new choice, you tune into a different version of life. The old channel still exists, but you are no longer watching it. This is why passing a test feels like a breakthrough. You've shifted to a reality where the old limitations no longer define you. Quantum physics teaches us that the observer influences reality. By focusing your attention differently, you change what appears. This explains why synchronicities multiply after you pass the test. Your awareness has shifted, and now you're observing a new reality that matches your inner state. What once seemed impossible begins to unfold naturally. This perspective can feel mysterious, but it's deeply empowering. It reminds you that you are not trapped in one version of life. You always have the power to step into a new one. Every test you pass is a doorway, and beyond each doorway lies a higher timeline waiting for you to claim it. At the heart of every test is emotion. Fear, doubt, impatience, these are the forces that try to pull you back into the old self. The real challenge is not the situation itself, but how you respond emotionally. Passing the final test means you've learned to master your emotions instead of letting them master you. This is where true strength is found. Fear tells you to stay small. Doubt whispers that you're not capable. Impatience pushes you to give up before the breakthrough arrives. These emotions are natural, but they are not the truth. They are echoes of the past, memories of times you struggled. The key is noticing them without letting them control you. When you can feel fear and still move forward, you've already won. Emotional mastery is not about suppressing feelings. It's about observing them and choosing how to respond. Instead of reacting automatically, you create space between the feeling and the action. That space is where your power lies. With practice, you realize that emotions are like waves. They rise, they fall, but they don't have to decide your future. When you reach this stage, life feels lighter. You no longer run from emotions, you learn from them. Every test becomes easier because you know how to stay centered. This mastery shows the universe that you are ready for greater opportunities. It's proof that you can handle what's next without collapsing back into the old self. That is the mark of true readiness. When you pass the final test, something shifts inside you. You no longer carry the same resistance that once slowed you down. Suddenly, manifestation becomes easier, faster, and more natural. It's as if doors start opening on their own. The reason for this acceleration is simple. Your energy is no longer divided. Before, part of you wanted change, while another part held on to the past. Now all of you is aligned with the future. That alignment acts like a magnet, pulling new opportunities straight to you. Think of it like driving a car with the brakes on. No matter how much you press the gas, you can't move forward smoothly. The final test is the moment you release the brakes. Once they're gone, even a small amount of effort takes you far. That's why people often notice rapid shifts after a breakthrough. The universe isn't suddenly different. You are, and your new state allows reality to respond with speed. This acceleration can feel almost overwhelming at times. You may see multiple synchronicities in a single day. New people may show up in your life. Unexpected chances may appear. It can feel like life is rushing to catch up with the new version of you. Instead of doubting it, trust it. This is the natural rhythm of manifestation when resistance is gone. What once seemed distant now feels within reach. The key is to stay grounded. Speed can tempt you to lose focus, but remember, manifestation is not just about getting what you want. It's about becoming who you are meant to be. When you remain steady and grateful, you flow with the acceleration instead of being swept away by it. This is how you move gracefully into your new chapter, ready to receive what life has been preparing for you. One of the most comforting parts of the journey is realizing that the universe always leaves clues. After passing the final test, you'll notice subtle but powerful signs around you. These aren't always dramatic. In fact, they're often quiet confirmations. You may feel an unusual sense of peace. You may notice repeating numbers, such as 111 or 444, or perhaps you'll see small synchronicities, like hearing the exact phrase you needed at the right moment. These are the universe's way of saying, yes, you did it. Another clear sign is that situations that once triggered you no longer have the same power. You find yourself calm where you once felt reactive. You choose patience instead of frustration. You feel confident instead of doubtful. This inner shift is not something you can fake. It's a genuine sign that you've crossed into a new state of being. The outer world doesn't change first. The inner world does. You may also notice opportunities showing up more easily. Someone calls at the perfect time. A door opens without struggle. Even small blessings, like finding what you need unexpectedly, are signs that you've passed the test. The universe mirrors your inner readiness by sending external support. These little moments are proof that you're aligned with a higher flow. Most importantly, you'll feel a sense of quiet knowing. You may not have all the answers, but you trust the process. You no longer chase signs desperately. You allow them to arrive naturally. That shift in energy is the biggest sign of all. It shows you've moved beyond the old self and into a new chapter where guidance feels constant and natural. Passing the final test is powerful, but staying aligned afterward is just as important. Think of it like planting a seed. You wouldn't water it once and then walk away. You would keep nurturing it until it grows strong. The same goes for your new state of being. Daily practices help you maintain the energy that brought you this far. Without them, it's easy to slip back into old habits. One of the simplest tools is gratitude. When you focus on what's already good, you reinforce the vibration of abundance. Gratitude shifts your energy instantly, pulling you into the present moment. Another powerful practice is mindfulness. Taking even a few minutes each day to observe your thoughts helps you stay aware of when the old self tries to return. With awareness, you can choose differently. It also helps to surround yourself with reminders of your growth. This could be journaling your wins, spending time with uplifting people, or listening to content that keeps your energy high. Small rituals, like setting intentions each morning, anchor your mind in the new reality. These actions may seem simple, but together they create a strong foundation that supports your transformation. Staying in alignment is not about being perfect. It's about coming back to center when you drift. Everyone has off days, but alignment means you don't stay stuck there. You notice, you breathe, and you return to the new self you've chosen. With practice, alignment becomes natural and your reality continues to evolve in harmony with your highest path.